Hey, I'm Mark. Let's go. Let's get this party started. Oh, what? Ugh. Man, you were a slice of bread short of a full sandwich. Hey, let's go. Close the door. I don't want anybody to hear what's going on here. Why? Because I'm a history teacher, and I'm about to go rogue. You know, last week we were talking about the great American fairy tale, The Wizard of Oz. And that was a story that went beyond a young girl trying to find her way back home. Let's go across the pond this period. Let's look at nursery rhymes from long ago. You know the routine. All join hands, circle to the left, ring around the rosies, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes all fall down, and we giggle and ha 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 and have a great time. You know, that rhyme's about the bubonic plague. Cool, huh? Let's look at the background of some other beloved nursery rhymes. They might not mean what you think they mean. It's enough to get you nightmares. Let's go rogue. Let's go back a couple of years to Tudor England in the 1500s. Henry VIII ascended to the throne of England in 1509. After he wrote a scathing rebuke of Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation, the Pope declared him to be defender of the faith. Now it was marrying time for Henry, and he found a good Catholic, a Spanish princess, Catherine of Aragon. They got married, and after a little, it's okay, they were married. After a little, then, Catherine and Henry produced a girl, Mary, who would retain mom and dad's Catholic faith. But no matter how hard they tried, the couple could not produce any other children. Henry blamed Catherine and he sought an annulment from the Pope. The Pope's agent in England was Cardinal Thomas Wolsey, a loyal Catholic who refused to grant the annulment. Then, old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor doggie a bone. When she got there, the cupboard was bare, so the poor little doggie had none. This nursery rhyme is not about an old lady and a dog. It's about Henry VIII and his divorce. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard. In this refrain, old Mother Hubbard is not a mother at all. She's not a woman at all. She is Cardinal Wolsey. The cupboard is the Catholic Church. To get her poor doggie a bone, the doggie is Henry VIII, who made the request of Cardinal Wolsey. The bone is the annulment from Catherine of Aragon. And when she got there, the cupboard was bare. The Catholic Church had no legal grounds to grant Henry his annulment. So the poor little doggie had none. No divorce for Henry VIII. Rebuffed by Cardinal Wolsey, Henry went to the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, and asked if he wanted to be the head of Henry's new Church of England, or the Anglican Church. Cranmer agreed, gave Henry his annulment, and Catherine was given a one-way ticket back to Spain. Their daughter, Mary, recluded herself in a London monastery. So Henry got to create the Church of England in his own likeness. He began by destroying the Catholic monasteries. Not all by himself. That's more work than even a king could do. And most faithful Catholics went into hiding. Then there was Richard Whitey, the abbot of Glastonbury. He tried to bribe Henry by secretly giving him the deeds of a few smaller Catholic estates if he would allow the monastery at Glastonbury to continue to operate. He had little Jack Horner. No, Thomas Horner? Well, it goes like this. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." Thomas Horner was a steward of the abbot who was to deliver a very large pie to Henry VIII with the deeds of those Catholic properties baked in. Thomas Horner somehow ended up with the deed to one of the properties. It is believed that he had reached into the proverbial pie and pulled out a plum, helping himself to the deed of that property. What a good boy am I. Back to Richard Whitey, abbot of Glastonbury. I'm sure Henry appreciated the gift, but it didn't stop the persecution of Catholics. Whitey himself was arrested for treason for his loyalty to the Catholic Church and to marry the Catholic princess. He was found guilty and hanged, then drawn and quartered. Drawn and quartered? Oh, well, they take a rope and wrap it around this wrist. They take a rope and wrap it around this wrist, and take a rope and wrap it around that ankle, and take a rope and wrap it around that ankle, tie the other ends to 4 horses, and then scare the horses. Yeah, pretty ugly. So being Catholic in Henry's England was becoming tough business. In mocking the Catholics, Anglicans would sing, "Goosey, goosey, gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who wouldn't say his prayers. So I took him by his left leg and threw him down the stairs." This was an anti-Catholic ditty. Goose was a term for prostitute in the 16th century. So the implication was that English Catholics were prostituting themselves to the Roman Church. Henry persecuted Catholic priests, like the abbot of Glastonbury, who refused to say their prayers in the new Anglican form. To avoid punishment for practicing their faith, priests would hide in priest holes or chambers in their homes, in the homes of sympathetic Catholic laymen. If they were found, the punishment was often death, as implied by the fate of the old man in the rhyme who was thrown down the stairs. There was another reason that Henry sought a divorce from Catherine of Aragon. Henry, figuring that Catherine couldn't produce a male heir, because it's the woman that determines the sex, right? Hey, get this. In the Middle Ages Europe, it was believed that the left testicle produced girls and the right testicle produced boys. So many men would have their left testicle removed. Boy, you really got to want a boy to do that. I digress badly. Catherine couldn't produce a male heir, so Henry, the king, started to with a lady named Anne Boleyn. And Anne Boleyn became pregnant. Problem? Not only was Anne Boleyn not Henry's wife, she was a commoner, not royal. She was a lady. And royals don't marry commoners. This would be tragic, bringing all kinds of calamity to England. It would be like the end of a Shakespeare play. It would be like, London Bridge was falling down. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. My fair lady, Anne Boleyn, was common, not royal. She was a lady. Silver and gold I have none, I have none, I have none. Silver and gold I have none, my fair lady. She's a commoner. She brings nothing to the marriage. Build it up with iron bars, iron bars, iron bars. Build it up with iron bars, my fair lady. Anne Boleyn, again, didn't produce a male heir for Henry. She produced a daughter, who they named Elizabeth, but still no male heir. Now Henry wanted to dispose of wife number 2 and try again with a third wife. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer, wouldn't grant a second annulment for his king, so Henry found another route to get rid of Anne. He accused her of having an affair and therefore committing treason. Take the key and lock her up. Lock her up, lock her up. Take the key and lock her up, my fair lady. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. And for her treason, Anne Boleyn was executed. Back to Mary. Henry died in 1547, and after the short-lived reign of her younger brother Edward, Mary I became Queen of England in 1553. She remained Catholic even after Henry and England had all converted to Anglicanism, and by the time she ascended to the throne, England had been Protestant for 20 years. Mary determined to restore England to the Catholic faith. Opposition to Mary's reign was led by an Anglican triumvirate of Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury, Hugh Latimer, Bishop of Worcester, and Nicholas Boo Radley, Bishop of London. Just Nicholas Radley? Not Boo? Okay. Well, the three conspired to bring a Protestant monarch to the throne, but Mary outmaneuvered them, taking the throne and turning her substantial wrath upon the three bishops. Catholics refer to them as the three blind mice. Three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice? Three blind mice. The three blind mice are the three Anglican bishops, Cranmer, Latimer, and Radley. They're blind because they were Anglican heretics. See how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. The farmer's wife is the legitimate Queen of England, Mary I, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Well, she did worse than that. After a number of modes of torture, she had them burned at the stake. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Mary instituted a reign of terror against the leadership of the Anglican Church in order to restore Catholicism in England, having hundreds of Anglican priests burned at the stake, earning her the nickname Bloody Mary. Anglicans also sang this little ditty. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and maids all in a row. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Why was Mary, Mary contrary? She was Catholic, while the majority of the English were Anglican. How does your garden grow? This is a reference to the number of growing Protestant cemeteries in England with silver bells and cockle shells. Two different torture devices. Silver bells used to crush the tortured person's thumbs. Cockle shells were used to torture a man's, No, just leave the right one. And maids all in a row. Maids were devices used to decapitate people. Unfortunately for Catholicism, Mary couldn't have children herself and failed to leave any heirs. Another version of the Anglican taunt, how does your garden grow? Mary died in 1558 and was replaced by her half-sister Elizabeth I, who solidified Anglicanism in England, initiated the Elizabethan era, began the colonization of America, and put England on a path to becoming the world's great powers. Nursery rhymes, man. Enough to give you nightmares if you know much about them. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I want to thank my producer, Casey Moulton, and to thank Mr. Brent Allen for letting us use his studio here on the campus of Columbia High School. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope you did both. Leave a comment below if you did. Like and subscribe. Share on whatever platform you use. I had fun, but I won't quit my day job. And I hope to go rogue again with you real soon. Remember, next time you hear a nursery rhyme, I'm Mark Haggard. I'm a history teacher, and I'm going rogue.